And we're live.
Yo, welcome back to Three the Odd Way podcast. Once again, we are back, biggity black. I am your boy, J Cash. We got my man, SHERM, the barber. And we got my man, Substantial. In case y'all didn't realize, I'm in workout gear, in my workout mode, sipping my workout drink, but we about to get into some real topics really quick.
Yes, son. Yo, so the Falcon and the Winter Soldier just dropped on Disney Plus, and so this is our official reaction video for that show. Only episode 1 has been released, unlike WandaVision, where we got the first 2 episodes. We only got the first episode for this one, and yeah, so we're gonna jump into it. This is all the spoiler notification you're gonna get, because this is not a spoiler-free review. We're just gonna go in. So if you don't want spoilers, bye. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, gentlemen, what did y'all think? And maybe I should give them background. For those who don't know, following the events of Avengers Endgame, Sam Wilson, Falcon, and Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, team up in a global adventure that tests their abilities and their patience. On that note, gentlemen, what you got for me? What are y'all thoughts? First reaction, first response.
You want to go? You can go ahead, James.
Well, it started off with action, so I can't be mad at that. You know what I mean? That scene in the beginning. Oh, you know what? They really did. I'm in the middle of a comment and I cut my own comment off. They what's the name of the tool he had? It's in the comic book is an actual bird, but in the
what do you call it? Red Wing, I think.
Nightwing, yeah, something like that. Nightwing or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had actually. Yeah, it's called Red Wing.
Red Wing.
Red
yeah.
Wing, okay. The Red Wing got a lot more play in this one than I saw, and I think in any of the Avengers movie. You know what I mean? So they displayed that a lot more in the opening scene, and I thought that was pretty dope. You saw Bucky in there trying to cope with what happened and things that he did, and it was just, it's fast paced, and I like it. I like it so far. I was hoping that they had episode 2 ready for it, but I have to come out next week. But so far, it's been good.
That's what's up.
Well, I thought it was cool. It didn't really move me a whole bunch. I think a lot of these shows on Disney Plus are really cute void fillers. As far as when a movie is over, you're always left wondering, like, I wonder what could be happening after all this is over. So, these are cool shows to fill those types of voids for the curiosity of of Marvel fans. But it's cool. It's cool. It didn't really move me a whole bunch. Huh?
You don't sound too impressed.
No, it didn't really do much for me. It was cool. It was an entertaining show, but I was kind of left just feeling like, I just watched a TV show.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was impressed. Couple things. One, I love what I do like that they're doing on these TV shows that we haven't really been able to see in the movies. Sometimes, like especially with Avengers movies or like movies where it's an ensemble cast and it's a lot of characters in it, we don't necessarily get to see certain characters like fully like fleshed out, not just in terms of their backstory, but even in terms of their combat ability, right? So like for example, in WandaVision, when we saw the vision on vision fight, there were different things that was happening in that sequence that we've never really seen Vision actually do in a fight, mainly because niggas normally not fighting himself. But like, I feel like the same is true of what we saw for Falcon, like in that opening sequence. Like that opening action scene, like it turned, like they turned that shit up, like you know what I mean?
It's almost like Falcon with the other superheroes he kind of doesn't get his ability to shine. But when you see
Right.
him by himself, he's like, oh, this dude, he legit for real. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that scene when they was on the plane and he used the wings in so many different assortments or whatever, it was amazing. I thought it was good, man. I really did.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and call this. This is boutique Black Lightning.
Nah, as somebody who watches the hell out of Black Lightning, this shit is definitely not the same. Yeah, it's not. I
was being hyperbolic, man. It was a joke, man. It was a joke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Funny to me.
But now, what I was gonna say though is like I feel like for instance, that fight scene that we saw with Falcon, that shit is like on par with like I would say like another action movie or like a high quality action movie that we seen. Like that shit was good enough to be like an end sequence, you know what I mean, for a film. And for them to start that way, you know, makes you kind of feel like, oh, y'all are pretty fucking confident about what y'all about to do next. To start this way, you know what I mean?
Right.
I also like the fact that we finally getting to see Bucky's trauma addressed because like this dude's technically been alive. We know this is a comic book story, so he's been alive for 106 years and like has spent like literally from the time from like the 40s to now has literally just been going from one fight to another, from one mission to another. That's a whole lot of death. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole lot of death, a whole lot of stuff that this dude has to live with. And so like to see them actually address that, to not just like we're so used to seeing action movies and action things where it's like people do a whole lot of bad shit, but they don't necessarily have time in the story to, okay, here's how they process the grief and the trauma related to that thing. So I feel like that's interesting too, because I feel like most of the time we don't get that.
I feel like they in that 47 minutes that the show lasted, they did do a good job of balancing the action with the drama.
Yeah.
And also you saw some dry humor from Bucky too, something that we haven't really gotten a chance to see in any of the movies he's been in. So that was a welcoming scene for me.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see when they finally link back up as well. Also, when we finally see the main villain of the series, Zemo. He was the villain from Civil War. So like he's coming back. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a lot. And
who was Zemo?
Zemo was the guy that literally had them fighting with each other. You know what I mean? Because he was like,
well, the one with Black Panther?
Huh?
The one with Black Panther had him.
Yeah, toward the end, like preventing him from killing himself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because dude was. Go ahead.
I was going to kind of change. I was going to kind of change the subject. So yeah, go ahead.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
So I was a little concerned for a little while because I'm looking at all these black people and I'm like, all right, now, when are we going to get some culture thrown in here? Because it's a lot of black people. When Don Cheadle said brother at one point, I was like, okay, I see they're introducing it now. Because I'm watching, I'm like, all right, it's 2021. You got this black man in this Captain America suit in America. Like, come on, nobody has an issue with this black brother in this Captain America suit. So I'm wondering if they're going to address that. They did. I did like the dynamic in the bank when like the sister ain't for play. I like the sister.
Yeah, I love her character.
She's not for play at all. So they did start introducing it then, because I was kind of concerned. I'm like, yo, it's a lot of black people in this joint, but I don't feel nothing black going on at all. But they started to introduce it, so I was definitely happy to see that.
Yeah, shout out to the actress who plays the sister. I'm probably going to butcher her name. My apologies in advance. Her name is Adepero or Adepero Oduye. Yeah, but she plays Sarah Wilson.
Good shot.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Look, I'm trying to like
Nice
let's normalize these African names, B. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Niggas ain't struggling to say Sam. You know what I'm saying? Sam. It's Sam. Oh, my apologies.
So what did y'all take at the end of that though? What y'all take at the end of it? Because he was given an opportunity to be the next Captain America, and he felt like it didn't feel right because the shield represented Captain America.
Yeah.
So at the end, they found somebody else to play it since he wouldn't. How do y'all feel about that? Like, do you feel like
they got mayonnaise man out there? I don't know.
Yeah, but do you think that the reason why they were okay with rolling somebody else out there is because they found a white guy, or do you feel like they needed more somebody as a symbol to give people hope? Or do you feel like they played him, you know what I mean, in order to get the shield back so that they could do what they want to do anyway?
Yeah, so a couple different things. So the guy we're seeing now, I believe, is going to end up being the character U.S. Agent from the comic. And so and also like just for the folks who aren't comic book heads, just know that like there's been a bunch of people over time to be Captain America, including Sam Wilson, who eventually becomes Captain America in the comic. But prior to him, there was another person who actually was a black Captain America. But anyway,
Bucky became Captain America at 1.2, right?
Say again?
Doesn't Bucky become Captain America at 1.2?
So yeah, like you got different people who take on the mantle. So my thoughts are this. I think like I'm kind of looking at it two different ways, right? So there's the first thing, it's the classic thing with Sam where we've seen it time and time again, where somebody doesn't necessarily feel like they're up to doing a certain thing for whatever reason, whether they just don't want to do it because of their relationship with the person who did it before. And so out of respect, right? And then other times it's, feeling inadequate, you know what I mean? Like you're not them and you could never be them. And so you don't even want to try. But then the other side to that is the classic, like, yo, like, I don't want to do it, but I also don't want nobody else to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just kind of like it's always frustrating to see that because, we have all seen somebody who didn't want to do a thing and then someone else came along and did it. And then that person's mad as fuck. Like, yo, come on, son. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, well, nigga, you should have did it because then we wouldn't be here, but we're here. So, right. So there's that side. The other side of the shit. Like I feel like it's a great example of America being America. Like, yo, look, the Avengers is mostly made up of people who are American already. And then you got like a couple people from other worlds and shit like that. But most of the Avengers, nigga, most of them are already America. But because they've decided to not just defend America, no, we defend the planet. We're protect because it's bad shit happening everywhere in the world, not just here. You know what I mean? And there's threats from outside of this world and here. So because they're not necessarily focused on just them, and the other part that it's important to remember, they don't bend to the will of the government. When they don't agree with the government, they go ahead and do what the fuck they feel is right anyway. So I think it's classic, like, we need a yes man. We need somebody who's going to represent our interests, you know what I mean? The interests of this country, American exceptionalism. And and I don't think it's so much of them. I don't think he was tricked into giving up the shield. I do feel like he just gave up the shield. I don't feel like he was tricked, but I think the tricky part is they made it seem like, oh yeah, we're just gonna store this shit away. It's gonna be an exhibit.
That's what I was thinking. Like that last scene kind of left me like he was thinking, I can't believe y'all rolled this out again after I gave it to you to store away because it belongs to Rogers. So that was kind of weird. Another quick question. Go ahead.
Hold on. So I like your question, and I really, especially the part about wondering whether or not they put a white dude in there because of, like, not necessarily the whole, like Stan said, trick them into giving up the shield so they could do that, but just as I was saying about the whole black man in the in the place of Captain America, like, I wonder if they're going to play that into the dynamic, or if they're going to leave it as, it's just the dude that we put it. It just so happens that it's a white dude, but I kind of feel like they might push it towards.
That's a whole different storyline. It would be nice to see that they address it.
Yeah,
if his sister ain't the one to say something first, I'm gonna feel like that's a missed opportunity, yo.
Right, right.
But also, I'm looking at the cast right now. I'm trying to bring up the list. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna find this dude's name. But
my other question was, it has to do with Bucky. So you know how he's going through that list trying to make amends for all the people that, you know what I mean, that whatever he got to make amends for. If he doesn't make amends with the guy's father who he killed, do you think that it kind of makes him revert back into the assassin? You know what I mean? Like, he's never going to be made whole because he's never going to be able to make amends with the father of the guy that he murdered. You know what I'm saying? Because he had an opportunity. In fact, he left the date to actually go do it and then got cold feet at the door. You know what I mean? So do you see him actually playing that out? And if he doesn't do it, how do you think he's going to react, or who do you think he's going to become in the midst, or in the if the opportunity presents itself and he doesn't follow through with making amends for that murder?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to predict how that's going to play out. Like, I'm excited to see where it goes. And like, yo, my heart hurt for both of them, right? Like, watching that whole sequence is just like, yo, of course you feel more terrible for the father, right, who lost his son. And I love that line that the woman says to him, where she basically, oh my God, where she says that, like when you lose your spouse, you're a widow or a widower. When you lose your parents, you're an orphan. But what do they don't have a name for what you are when you lose a child.
Yep.
That shit, yo. I was like, fuck.
That's got to be what she said. That's got to be the worst feeling in the world, or the worst thing that happened, like something like that.
It's so bad. It's so bad they didn't bother to name it. It's like, oh my God, bro. That part, man.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he comes back from that.
That is gonna be interesting, man.
But stuff like that, man. This is like, for the people who are comic book movie skeptics and shit. It's writing like that, which a lot of these films are putting in, like in these comic book stories. That, like, it's making them quality films or quality shows, and not just like other things, because that's a lot of substance. That's more substance. That one scene alone is more substance than we get in plenty of other shows that people quote unquote love a lot of times and stuff. And so it's great to see them always push the envelope with that. Circle back real quick. The writer whose name I was looking up, his name is Malcolm Spellman. We actually just saw this brother in, he was one of the dudes who was speaking in Hip Hop Uncovered. So he's actually a writer. He's a light-skinned black dude with an afro. But yo, he's written. So he's
crazy looking dude.
So he's written for a couple of shows. He's written for Empire. I think that film, Our Family Wedding. HBO's Making of the Sopranos, Road to Respect. He's also written for and we saw him, of course, on Hip Hop Uncovered as well. And he was I think he was an executive producer as well on that show. You know what I mean? Of multiple episodes from the show. So yeah, man. So just off of that alone, and what his track record is and who he is, I'm pretty sure what we think is going to be addressed is definitely going to get brought up in the whole you know, like Captain America being white as opposed to black, and them making that choice and not necessarily trying to convince Falcon to keep with that. Especially the other thing that's dope about Falcon too, that separates him from a lot of the other Avengers, because you know we look at Iron Man in these fight scenes, and you know we don't question like when he fighting without all of the stuff, like when he's just straight up fighting folks or whatever, and he like catches the gun when him and Bucky are fighting in Civil War. Like, dog, like this nigga ain't got military training. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but Bucky, you know, on the other hand, had military training, has been an assassin for like what, 50, 60 years, right? But then on top of that, like people forget
I'm a fan of Bucky. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Bucky's that dude. But like we forget that Sam Wilson's actual military. Like this is what he's done.
That's what I meant earlier when I said that him by himself. You never really seen him get busy like that by himself because he's surrounded by Captain America, Iron Man, the whole cast. So seeing him get busy is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, okay, you get a little bit more respect for him.
Yeah, definitely. But
real quick, before we jump off though, any predictions on how the next plot of the story unveils itself?
Yeah,
you got a new Captain America now,
right?
And Falcon feels some type of way. How do you think it goes from on next week? Because you know they got to meet the two of them together at some point. So how do you see it happening?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, you know, I know there's going to be like some backlash or whatever from obviously not just Bucky. And I think ultimately them introducing a new Captain America is what's bringing them back together. You know what I mean?
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah, because both of them have these close relationships with them. So, you know, Bucky wasn't picking up the phone before when Sam was calling him, but he gonna pick up now. Like, Nick, I know you saw. First of all, don't be calling me Nick. Second of all, yeah, I saw that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, man. I think it's going to be. I think that's going to ultimately bring them together. I think we're going to see a whole lot of. I mean, we've seen it already in the other trailers, where they trying to market it to the people and really kind of like get the country to buy into the new Captain America, which is very much what they did with the first, you know, and it's funny, I just went back and watched Captain America, the First Avenger, another great movie. Yeah, man, like they did the whole campaign and the PR and all of that, you know, America being America.
They need a symbol.
Yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, and then I think we're going to really dive deeper into the terrorist organization, who we got that little preview of. That savage beating my man took, broke his orbital B. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
That joint.
Who's that supposed to be?
Oh, man. So I forget what they're called. I got to look it up. So my apologies to the other comic book heads who probably feel like I'm failing them right now.
That's LAF, right? LAF?
Yes, LAF. Yeah, worst acronym ever. Laugh. We're not taking them serious. What are they? Clowns in a clown car? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's but yeah, the way when he gave them hands and that foot,
man,
they were no laughing matter.
Oh,
terrible. In poor taste. Okay. Might be time to wrap up. So yeah, but we'll see what happens with them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's gonna be dope, and I'm waiting for them to introduce old girl from what's her name, Erin Kellyman, who plays Carly. She's the redhead, light-skinned black woman who they've been showing in the clips, where you see Sam like, oh, that little girl whipped your ass. I'm waiting to see these scenes where she give them the hand, so I'm excited for that too, because it looked crazy in the clips. But yeah, man, so. Episode 2 next Friday, gents. You know what I mean? We'll see how it goes. You know, we'll see if we're excited enough to do another one of these. You know what I mean? Or we'll save it for the finale, whatever y'all feel. You know, y'all let us know what y'all think in the comments, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow the channel, hit that like button, turn on notifications, and also check out our Patreon, patreon.com/3theoddway. All right. And all that good stuff. All right. So we will see y'all this weekend. Actually, we'll see y'all on Sunday. You know, we said we was gonna go live once a month, but we're like, yeah, that we just gonna go live. So we'll see you when we see you. Hopefully you'll be there with us. And yeah, fellas, I will catch y'all later.
All right, man.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace. Peace.